Hi, this is Angela Cox, and I'm going to show you how to make a ladder stitch. Now, before we begin, you will need something that a ladder stitch is meant to sew up a hole, like in a stuffed animal, or along a seam. The ladder stitch is not the strongest stitch. However, it is invisible. So you can see here, I have made this little tiny pillow, and I've used an overcast stitch all the way around. Now I have a hole, right? And I need to sew up this hole, right? So first of all, the ladder stitch is made on the right side of the fabric. Everything else that we've sewed so far, we've kind of done it inside out. So step number one, I need to flip my little baby pillow so that it is right side out, right? So I'm going to take it, and notice I did not leave my ladder stitch on the corner, right? The ladder stitch always works best in the middle of a side, right? So here's my little baby pillow that I sewed, and then I'm going to stuff it, right? So I'm going to put some stuffing inside of my little baby pillow. And you don't need real stuffing. You can put anything inside of here. It's kind of fun to put little beans in it. Make a little bean bag. Right, but okay, so here's my stuffed little baby pillow. And I am ready to start the ladder stitch. Right, so I have my threaded needle. Here's my threaded needle all ready. And the hardest part of doing the ladder stitch is starting it. So I take my needle, and I'm going to come up from underneath, back where I kind of already have some stitches, right? And then I'm going to hide my ugly knot inside of the seam, right? So now it just looks like my thread is coming up out of my pillow, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to poke these ends in, right? Sometimes, and so that it looks kind of like folded in like that. Sometimes you might want to put a pin inside of there, and that might make it, here I'll show you what I mean. If you put a pin in it, it will keep your little ladder stitch, right? It'll keep these edges together because you want that cut edge on the inside. So at this point, the ladder stitch is really easy. It's like lacing up your shoes. You're always going to sew parallel to the seam. So you're going to sew this way, right? I don't want to sew this way because then you'll be able to see them. I'm going to sew this way. And I'll make a little small stitch on this side, just like that. And then I'm going to pull it tight. Then I'm going to make a little small stitch on this side. And then I'm going to pull it tight. And when I pull it tight, that stitch disappears. Then I'm going to make it on this side. Pull it tight. And then I'm going to make it on this side. And do you see how it looped around there? I'm just going to pull it off and I'm going to pull it tight. And that's what I do. I keep going this side, and do you see how that guy is trying to see how that seam, this cut edge is kind of come out? I'm going to push that back in there. Right? This side, always parallel to the seam. Pull it tight. Then this side. Pull it tight. So it really is a lot like lacing up your shoes, where you go one side and then the other. And the secret is to always pull it tight after each stitch. If you can see the stitch, then it's either not tight enough or your stitches are too big. Now I've gotten to my pin. Once I get to it, I just take it out because I don't really need it anymore. I'm going to do this side, pull it tight, and this side. Move that thread out of the way and pull it tight. Right? This side, pull it tight, and then this side, pull it tight. once you get to the end, like you see, I'm starting to get to the end here. I'm almost to where my overcasts are. Then what you're going to do is you are just going to end it exactly like you ended the other stitches, where you have a loop and then you go through the loop. Sometimes you'll be able to see where you end it, but the tighter you pull it and the smaller you make the stitches, the better it's going to look. And always tie it off 3 times, because the ladder stitch is the weakest stitch that we've learned, right? It will, if you use it well, if you play with it, if you mess with it, then you're going to be, it's probably going to come open. Right? Then we cut it off, and there's our little ladder stitch, right? And if you look, you kind of can't even see it. There you go.